everything you need to know about Ukraine in the future. In February of this year, Russia invaded Ukraine, creating a humanitarian and refugee crisis and plunging the world into whole new economic and geopolitical uncertainties, just as we were starting to recover from the worst pandemic in a century. While the impact of the war, which is still raging, is felt around the world, we are all affected by this event. It is a bit improbable to believe that somewhere in the world there really is a war going on. That real war destroys everything. We are sorry that it has come to this, especially now that there are countless ways to solve the problem. Anyway, Russia obviously couldn't make an effort to find a common solution with Ukraine. That's why Ukraine is destroyed today. Yes, many cities were destroyed. People were left without homes, and children without schools. They need to be helped to deal with it and for the country to be built up again. Welcome back to the Billion Dollar Projects channel. Today, we are talking about Ukraine, its reconstruction, and its future. The topic may be sensitive for some of you, but this story must be public and constantly told to raise awareness of the real troubles in the world and the necessary help that we can all contribute. We will continue the video soon. Just before that, subscribe to our channel to be regularly informed about the happenings around the world. Also, turn on the notification and enjoy the video. Let's continue. The invasion of Ukraine caused the fastest forced population movement since the Second World War. 3 months after the war began, more than a quarter of the population, over 12 million people, had fled their homes. At that time, nearly 5.6 million were refugees, and over 7.7 million Ukrainians are internally displaced within Ukraine. More than 4 million people, most of them refugees, had returned to Ukraine as of August 2022, according to the UN Refugee Agency. Despite the ongoing war in the country, people want to go home. Many of them return to homes that were ruined. Many come back to the cities and towns that bear the scars of the war. What unites all the people living in Ukraine and those who are still planning to come back is the obvious need to rebuild Ukraine homes and cities. This need for reconstruction goes beyond the priorities of safety and functioning basic infrastructures, but also encircles what is envisaged by a much broad term: build forward better. Ukraine is a country with many beautiful cities, beautifully decorated squares, and historical buildings. Unfortunately, most of it has disappeared, been destroyed during the war, and now spoils the appearance of the cities. To regain their old glory, they need a lot of help from other European countries and the rest of the world. That is why the Ukraine Recovery Conference was formed. It was hosted in the Swiss town of Lugano and gathered 1,000 participants from over 40 countries and numerous international organizations. The high-level discussion on rebuilding and modernizing Ukraine sought to lay out the participles and priorities for the recovery process ahead. The main highlight of the conference was the presentation of the draft of Ukraine's Recovery and Development Plan, which would cover the 2022 through 2032 period and amount to an estimated $750 billion, excluding funding for security and military expenditures. The plan consists of 850 projects within 15 national programs in different spheres of the economy and public life. The Ukraine government overall pledges to build a new country dedicated at modernization, the implementation of European integration reforms aimed at complying with the EU's accession criteria, the introduction of green technologies and digitalization, enforcement of the rule of law, and prioritization of transparency and accountability throughout the recovery process. These principles are also reflected in the adopted Lugano Declaration, which also provides for the creation of a coordinated platform between partners and financial organizations. One of the greatest quandaries concerns the timing of the start of the recovery process. Kiev insists that recovery efforts begin immediately, yet the safety and hence the reasonableness of long-term investments is under question. Donors are likely to cautiously avoid committing to anything beyond supporting Ukraine's immediate survival needs, while the outcome of the war remains uncertain and the risk of further escalation is high. But once the war is over, Ukraine will be provided a unique opportunity to leapfrog into the European future and develop an innovative and Karen-free economy based on the best parts and modern technologies. Whether the country harnesses the moment adequately will depend on the coordinated, well-planned, and committed efforts of all actors, both within and outside Ukraine. We hope that this crazy war will end as soon as possible, People will return to their homes and the cities will regain their old glory. Ukraine truly gets a lot of support, and all the countries from the mentioned conference will certainly help in construction and a better future. Now, let's hear your opinion. Leave us a comment down below. Like and share the video. Since we have reached the end of the video, we can only thank you for watching and tell you that we are preparing many more interesting videos for you. See you, folks!